Welcome back to All Things Soggy Buns, the podcast where we really like to get into all the saucy details of barbecue.
That's right.
We're always looking for fun new stuff. And we actually got a question from a listener. And,
Oh, yeah.
I kind of have the same thought myself.
Mm-hmm.
Why doesn't pulled chicken get the same love as pulled pork?
Yeah.
And I think that this recipe for smoky pulled barbecue chicken
Yeah.
that was sent in is really going to help us figure out
Oh, yeah.
why this is.
It's funny you should mention that because the recipe actually starts by addressing that.
Oh, does it?
Yeah. Right off the bat, it's like, listen, pulled chicken is not pulled pork.
Right.
These are two different things.
Yeah, totally.
So, like when you think about it, pork shoulder, you got all that fat and all that connective tissue.
Yeah.
And that's what lets it cook for a long time, low and slow.
Right.
Chicken's like the opposite.
Yeah.
Much leaner. It cooks a lot faster.
So we're talking a totally different cooking approach for the chicken.
Oh, yeah, definitely a different approach. And the recipe does a really good job, I think, of highlighting how important it is to kind of think about what you're working with, And so one of the things that I thought was interesting is right away they recommend dry brining.
Dry brining, always a good idea.
It is a good idea. I mean, who doesn't like a good dry brine?
But is there anything specific to pulled chicken that we need to think about with the dry brining?
Well, yeah, actually, this recipe stresses using those like classic barbecue spices in your dry brine.
Oh, well,
So you're talking paprika, garlic powder, onion powder,
yeah.
little cayenne.
Oh, spicy.
Yeah, and what that does is it not only seasons the chicken, but it really helps keep it moist
Right.
while it cooks. And that's key when you're talking about pulled chicken.
Yeah, for sure.
You want it to be able to just pull apart.
You don't want it to be dry.
No, you don't want dry chicken. No one wants dry chicken.
Okay, well, so we talked about the dry brine, which is great.
Yeah.
But we can't talk about barbecue without talking about smoke.
Oh, of course not. That's essential.
So what does this recipe have to say about getting that smoky flavor into the chicken?
Well, actually, they did a little experiment.
Oh, cool.
They tried a couple different things. So they tried high heat grilling, but indirect heat, So not right over the flame, but high heat. And then they tried low and slow smoking.
Okay.
And this is kind of a surprise. The slower cooking actually turned out better.
Really?
In terms of both moisture and smoky flavor.
I would have thought higher heat would equal more smoke.
You would think that, right?
Yeah.
But what matters most is actually how long it's exposed to the smoke.
Okay.
Not necessarily just the temperature.
Yeah, that makes sense. What kind of wood are they recommending for the smoke?
Cherry wood.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and they say to use a milder cherry wood because you don't want it to be too overpowering.
Right.
Chicken's delicate.
Chicken's delicate, yeah.
So you want that subtle sweetness.
Oh, I love that. The attention to detail.
It's the little things.
Well, we got to talk saucery.
Oh, of course. Can't forget the sauce.
What kind of sauce are we putting on this amazing smoky pulled chicken?
Well, the recipe really emphasizes that it needs to be a thin sauce
Okay.
and well-balanced. It's got to complement the chicken, not cover up all that smoky goodness.
So none of that thick, gloppy stuff.
No.
That's good to know.
Yeah, you want something that's really going to soak in.
Okay, now I'm drooling.
No.
You're making me hungry, but
Sorry.
no, it's good. It's good.
I can't help it.
Can you break down the sauce? What are the key ingredients here?
Okay, so it starts with sautéed onions and garlic.
All right, classic.
Classic, right. Simmered in ketchup and apple juice.
Okay.
Then you add some brown sugar, molasses, honey for sweetness.
Okay, getting sweet.
Then you need that tang, so apple cider vinegar.
Nice.
Little Worcestershire sauce.
Nice.
Soy sauce, mustard.
Uh-huh.
Touch of hot sauce for some heat.
Wow.
It's like a symphony of flavors.
It really is. And you know what? I bet you can find all those ingredients and more at Soggy Buns.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
For those who haven't heard of them, they are a Maryland-based food truck and catering service.
That's right.
They actually make all this amazing food that we talk about.
Yes, they do.
You can go to soggybuns.com. That's B-U-N-Z with a Z.
With a Z.
To check out their menu and drool over some pictures.
That's right.
So we've got this amazing chicken. We've got this incredible sauce.
Yeah.
How does the recipe say to bring it all together?
They recommend serving it on soft potato rolls. And then for a little extra texture and freshness, a scoop of coleslaw on top.
Oh, man, that is the classic combination.
It is a classic. It's a classic for a reason.
That soft bun.
That juicy chicken.
That tangy sauce.
That cool, crunchy coleslaw just cuts right through all that richness.
It really is a symphony of barbecue flavors.
It is.
But I'm still thinking about our original question,
Yeah.
Why isn't pulled chicken getting the same amount of love as pulled pork?
Well, I think it might just be perception, you know?
Okay.
People think of chicken as being less flavorful.
Then pork.
Yeah, but this recipe proves that wrong.
Totally.
But I also think there's that ease factor with pork shoulders, you know?
Okay.
All that fat, all that connective tissue, you almost can't mess it up when you're cooking it low and slow.
Yeah.
It's pretty foolproof.
But chicken, you need a little finesse.
Yeah, you got to pay attention.
Yeah.
Details matter.
Get that tenderness and juiciness.
Exactly.
You know, this deep dive is really making me appreciate pulled chicken.
Me too.
Like it's a hidden gem.
It is kind of like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's fun to see a recipe that really takes the time to think about what makes chicken special and, make it the star.
What do you think is the most important thing that we're getting from this recipe?
I think it's understanding the protein,
Okay.
like realizing that chicken, it cooks faster
Right.
and it dries out easier than pork.
Yeah.
That's key to making this work.
It's such a good lesson.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
For any kind of cooking, no matter what you're making,
Exactly.
you got to think about what you're working with, adapt,
It's all about the ingredients.
Totally.
Yeah. And that brings up a good point.
Oh.
If we're thinking about like other proteins, what else could we pull?
Oh, yeah.
What else could we give that
Pulled treatment.
that pulled treatment,
Mm-hmm.
What about lamb?
Lamb. Okay.
Yeah, like a lamb shoulder,
Right.
shredded, tender, all those good Mediterranean spices.
Yeah. Okay. I'm with you.
Cumin, coriander, smoked paprika.
Oh.
Oh, man.
How are we serving that?
I'm thinking warm pita bread,
Okay.
maybe a little herby yogurt sauce
Yeah.
to cut through that richness.
Oh, stop.
I know, right?
I'm getting hungry.
Okay, all right. Or how about this? Completely different direction.
Okay.
Pulled mushrooms.
Pulled mushrooms.
Yeah.
I never thought of that.
Like portobellos, cremini, roasted low and slow till they're tender,
Go
juicy, shredded,
Yeah.
all those smoky, earthy flavor.
Yeah.
Maybe a little balsamic glaze on there.
Okay, you're like a culinary wizard.
Oh, stop it.
This is great.
It's all about thinking beyond.
Beyond the bun.
Yeah, exactly.
And speaking of buns,
Oh, yeah.
our listeners are probably getting really hungry.
Yeah, they're probably ready to try this stuff.
They're probably ready for a pulled chicken sandwich.
Well, if they're in Maryland.
Oh, you know where to go.
Soggy buns.
Soggy Buns.
That's right.
You can check out their website, soggybuns.com,
That's BUNZ with a Z.
for all their menu, catering options, and their food truck schedule.
Yeah, it's all there.
It's funny. We started off trying to figure out why pulled chicken gets the short end of the stick,
Yeah,
but I think we've made a pretty good case for it.
I think so too.
I think we've opened up a whole world of possibilities.
A whole world of pulled whatever you want.
It's amazing what happens when you take a closer look at something. It really is.
There's always more to discover.
Absolutely. Even in the things we think we know.
At first I wasn't so sure,
Yeah.
but this recipe's really changed my mind about pulled chicken.
Yeah, me too.
It's like sometimes the things that get overlooked are the best.
It's like finding that hidden gem.
And it really shows you the power of good technique and ingredients.
That's so true.
It's not just chucking some chicken in the smoker.
No.
It's about understanding it,
It's about those flavors.
building it up.
It's an experience.
And that's what Soggy Buns is all about.
That's right.
They're not just making food.
They're creating something special.
So, before we wrap up,
Okay.
I want to leave our listeners with something to think about.
Right.
If you could pick one protein, any protein to pull,
To pull. All right.
what would it be?
And how would you do it?
Yeah, what kind of flavors?
Oh, man. That's a tough one.
It is tough.
I think I'd have to go with octopus.
Octopus.
Yeah.
Bold choice.
I know, right? Tell me more.
Okay, so picture this. Tender, smoky octopus tentacles.
Okay.
All shredded up,
Right.
tossed in this bright citrusy sauce,
Okay.
a little bit of chili in there,
Ooh.
and then served on a bed of creamy polenta.
You win.
I know, right?
That sounds amazing.
We got to get you in the Soggy Buns kitchen.
I know. We got to make this happen.
I'm in.
That's awesome. Well, this has been another great episode of All Things Soggy Buns.
It has.
Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive into smoky pulled barbecue chicken.
It's been fun.
We'll catch you next time for more food adventures.
Octopus barbecue, huh? Who knew? I love how this deep dive is making us think outside the bun.
Right. That's what's so great about food. There's always something new to try, new ways to look at things.
It is funny, though, how we started talking about how pulled chicken gets overlooked.
Yeah.
But I think we've shown that it can really hold its own.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
When you understand how to cook it right, chicken can be just as good as anything else.
It all comes down to the technique. Exactly. And this recipe, it really shows you how to make the most of pulled chicken.
It reminds me that sometimes the best meals are the ones you least expect.
Yeah, those hidden gems, you know?
Like finding something special that no one else knows about.
And speaking of hidden gems,
We got to give another shout out to Soggy Buns.
absolutely, if you're in Maryland,
That's the spot for all your barbecue
they've
needs.
got that amazing smoky pulled barbecue chicken we talked about.
And all kinds of other delicious stuff.
Don't forget to check out their website, soggybuns.com.
That's B-U-N-Z with a Z.
With a Z, for their menu, catering, and food truck schedule.
Okay, so as we wrap things up,
Right.
what's the big takeaway from today? What have we learned that we can use in our own kitchens?
I think the biggest thing is to just be curious, you know? Don't be afraid to experiment and try new things,
Yeah.
whether it's giving pulled chicken another shot or finding a whole new protein to pull.
There's so much out there.
There's a whole world of deliciousness just waiting to be discovered.
And remember, cooking isn't just about following recipes.
It's about understanding why things work the way they do.
Yeah, why does this make sense?
It's about being creative,
And
adapting.
having fun.
Exactly.
Well, that's a perfect note to end on.
It is.
Thanks for joining us on All Things Soggy Buns.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll catch you next time for more barbecue adventures.